really set on just like going with the flow. You know, I was like, okay, like if this is meant to be, it's gonna work itself out.
Susie Evans is officially in the top 3 of The Bachelor in her bid to find love with Clayton Echard. Getting a step closer to winning the affections of Clayton, Susie has even earned enough roses to be able to introduce him to her parents. Having come from humble Virginian roots, Susie is a jiu-jitsu champion and has taught Echard some new moves as they spent time talking about her relationships with her family. Tons of fans felt that Susie should be the one to win Clayton's heart because of their undeniable connection, while others aren't so sure about counting out the other 2 girls just so soon. Susie Evans lives in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and is a wedding videographer. When she first met Clayton, she shocked him with her introduction. Quite literally. She had a little hand shocker that surprised the Bachelor so much that he invited her for his first date of the season. She even jokingly asked if he felt the electricity between them, which I, and I'm sure Clayton, found so cute and charming. On their first one-on-one date, the budding couple rode a helicopter to a yacht and jumped in the water to swim. They romantically ended the night with dinner and a private concert from Amanda Jordan. While in Hvar, Croatia, Susie did not receive a one-on-one date with Clayton, but she surprised him by slipping an unsigned note under his door that read, quote, "Meet me at the clock tower for an unscheduled date." When Clayton arrived to meet his mystery woman, he was delighted to find Susie waiting for him. They climbed the clock tower together, and Susie revealed that she was falling in love with Clayton. He was thrilled and said in his confessional that this might have been the happiest he had been on his journey, and that he could see himself falling in love with Susie too. One of the most refreshing things about Susie was how she avoided the drama with the other women in the house and focused on her relationship with Clayton. Fans love her bubbly personality and beautiful smile, and appreciate how kind she was compared to the villains of the season. She did not waste her time with Clayton discussing all of the problems in the house, but instead had fun and built a strong relationship with him. In a scene from her Vienna shopping date, Susie and Clayton dressed in traditional Austrian costumes and danced together. Susie's laughter and willingness to participate showed that she's more concerned with being happy and finding the good in people and situations. Before she appeared on The Bachelor, Susie lived in Japan for 2 years, where she worked at Tokyo Disneyland. She performed as various Disney princesses such as Ariel, Belle, Rapunzel, and Snow White, greeting guests and appearing in parades and shows. The photographs on her Instagram page illustrate the kindness and warmth that Susie exuded as she brought smiles to everyone she met, especially the kids. On the show, Susie is polite and graciously thanks all the workers who help her. Not only is she an extremely warm and friendly person, but she's also a pageant winner. She's won Miss Virginia Teen USA 2011 and Miss Virginia 2020, which is how she ended up being such close friends with Kaylin Miller Keys, who also did the Virginia pageant circuit. Susie is especially close with her parents and told Clayton that they are, quote, truly my best friends. Susie shared with Clayton that in 2020, her father became very ill. During her hometown date, her father recounted how Susie had slept at his bedside when he was especially sick one night. Susie is a devoted daughter who has a strong relationship with her parents. In an Instagram post, Susie described them as her, quote, 2 favorite people, and wrote that she is, quote, forever grateful for the love and example my parents have given me. That being said, a lot of people don't think that Susie has made it to the final 2 despite us knowing that she's in the final 3. There was a shocking ABC promo for The Bachelor that dropped and basically spoiled the final 2, kind of. In the promo itself, Clayton says, quote, I've slept with them both, alongside footage of him making out with a few contestants. This is definitely one of the more unhinged seasons, with Clayton expressing that he was falling in love with or is actively in love with several women throughout the run of the show. In the promo itself, when he reveals that he's slept with 2 women, namely Sarah and Rachel, it seems like fans came to the conclusion that they kind of spoiled the final 2 women. Obviously we can't be 100% sure, but if that's true, Susie is not among the final 2, which is such a pity because she's surely a fan favorite. Reality Steve, basically the guy on Twitter who documents everything and anything reality television, broke the news by tweeting out, quote, so this is just a quick reaction to the Clayton premiere video, but when he's standing there telling 2 women he was intimate with both, that's Sarah, the brunette, and Rachel, the blonde. My guess was that in Vienna, before he sent Sarah home / she was sent home, he kept Rachel. But obviously this has kind of been debunked since the final 3 were not Sarah, Rachel, and Susie, but actually Gabby, Rachel, and Susie. So the promo might have been a redirection ploy to try and get some attention through a classic bait and switch. A few fans are a bit upset with Clayton though for his flippancy. As I mentioned above, he's basically telling every woman on the season that he's in love with or falling in love with them, so WTF. And Twitter is roasting him for that too. Tons of users were reacting strongly to Susie's parents who asked if Clayton was in love with their daughter. He, in a weird roundabout way, basically said no, but that he could see himself falling in love with her, and her parents were so visibly uncomfortable that it basically got memed to death. A lot of people even think that Clayton doesn't deserve Susie, who put her family in front of everyone else. One Twitter user stated, quote, "OMG, Susie to her dad saying, 'You've just set the bar so high, you're such a good man, it's hard to live up to,' and then a bunch of crying emojis." Similarly, another user got emotional when they recalled, quote, "Susie's dad talking about her laying next to his bed when he was super sick. Come on now, what a queen. I feel like that line alone is going to set her apart from the others." While others think that Susie and Clayton are a pretty much forced relationship, another Twitter user cringed and stated that, quote, "Susie and Clayton have zero chemistry. It seems like a lot of people are mixed about Susie and Clayton, even though no one can't say that she's not one of the sweetest contestants this season." While she was speaking about her father's health issues, she stated on Instagram, quote, "This has definitely been the most challenging year in my life personally. Something that really made the difference in my days or even weeks when we were so uncertain or scared would be the positive interactions with other people. Oftentimes it was the nurses or health professionals that would come into the room cracking jokes, laughing with us, or just sharing some positivity about their life. In general, 2020 has been significantly more isolated than any other year of my life / most of our lives, but I've tried to make sure that the human interaction I do have with others is positive. You never know what someone else is going through. Thanks to all the healthcare workers who chose to be positive and kind when they show up to work long hours every day." With that being said, only time will tell though as we head into the final few episodes of The Bachelor and see who comes out as the victor and who has successfully won Clayton's heart.
And here's the thing. I never claimed to be some saint per se or celibate for the last 6 years of my single life. Like, I was single.
The Bachelorette contestant turned Bachelor contestant is in some hot water and serious drama amid the airing of the newest season of The Bachelor, where he has already made quite the mess of things. Let's hope he braces himself for impact, because it's been revealed that Clayton Echard slept with both Rachel and Susie, both contestants in his season vying for his love. The former football player who dreamed of going pro, a dream that sadly never happened, who now works as a sales representative for a medical device company, is now front and center in his bid to find forever love with one of the female contestants on this season of The Bachelor, but he seems more intent on living out some drama as we watch the season unfold. Clayton Echard was born in Recchia, Missouri, and began playing football in the 6th grade. Starting out as a defensive lineman, he did really well for himself throughout his high school career. Though he didn't receive any scholarship offers, he attended Missouri State to play football as a walk-on member, which basically means he wasn't recruited but traditionally tried out for the team. He made the team but was redshirted in his freshman season. He became a tight end in his 2nd season and played a few games, but honestly, he only had modest success in comparison to those who are more likely to enter into the NFL draft. That being said, he did sign with the Seattle Seahawks in 2016, but he was cut that same year, and so ended his professional career as a football player. After he graduated from university, with honors by the way, Clayton entered into the sales industry for a fancy medical device company, basically marketing the device to hospitals. Then last year in July 2021, Clayton was announced as one of 34 other men who were competing for the love of Michelle Young on her season of The Bachelor. Clayton unfortunately was cut pretty early from the season because although he was viewed by everyone, including the Bachelorette, as humble and kind, she just didn't feel that spark with him. He finished in 8th place, and fans were pretty heartbroken to see him go. That was until he was announced as the Bachelor, who would choose between 35 women with the goal of marriage at the end of the show. Fans seemed to really like Clayton because of his sweet demeanor, and they grew even more excited when it was announced before the program even began airing that Clayton was successful in finding love in this season. And then Clayton's season began and we started watching all the insane drama unfolding. In a wildly unorthodox manner that has never been seen before by Bachelor Nation, Clayton has basically fallen for 3 women at the same time. Even though there are still several episodes left to air this season, the drama is insane. On the very first night of airing, there's a segment called the Super Team tease, where the whole season is kind of teased for what's ahead. And on that night, it was revealed that Clayton fell for 3 women and slept with 2 of them. The Bachelor star then revealed in an interview that he revealed that bombshell because he wanted to be open about his actions in the house, even if it did hurt a lot of people. Despite seeming like the sweet Midwestern boy in The Bachelorette, and he may possibly be a well-meaning person, the man is stirring up drama in a way that the audience has never seen before on previous seasons. While Clayton has stated that he doesn't have any regrets about his conduct during the season, he did say, quote, "Looking back at it now, I could have done some things differently, and in a better way than I did what I thought was best at the time. That was 100% me." He then said that people are going to see some mistakes, which he hopes to turn into teaching moments down the line. I mean, 2 women were already kicked out of the house before the show even began. And as the newest episodes are unveiled, it seems apparent that tons of hearts are broken as Clayton enters into a love triangle with contestants Rachel and Susie. We don't know yet who he ends up falling in love with, and sleeping with these women is an insane play. Whoever he ends up with will know exactly what happens as each episode airs. Clayton has already had to issue an apology for his actions on The Bachelor. In one episode, he had sent home the wrong woman. Shanae filled the role of the villain in this season when she targeted Elizabeth Corrigan and accused her of faking her neurodivergence and lying about how bad her mental disability was. Clayton had assumed that it was just petty drama between the girls, and so he sent home Elizabeth, who was the subject of the bullying. Fans were livid, and as soon as the episode aired, when Clayton got to see the extent and behind the scenes of what had really gone down, he issued an apology statement. He posted to his Instagram story that he was sorry for not defending her, and that if he had known what he does now, after seeing the point of view of the camera, he, quote, would have immediately sent Shayna home for making fun of you for being neurodivergent. But some fans think too little, too late. Clayton was warned by several women in the house about Shanae's actions, but he chose to keep her in the house because he was so attracted to her, effectively ignoring the warning signs. One Twitter user wrote, quote, "He only apologized because everyone was giving him crap on Twitter. We will see if this changes. They always say this, but then you never see a change." Other fans think that the producers intentionally kept the extent of the bullying hidden from Clayton to perpetuate more drama in the house. Either way, people are pretty split on his actions. Even as recently as February 23rd, Clayton stated that he was nervous about his season on The Bachelor and that there may be a bigger storm coming as we see more episodes. Even in his apology statement, he said that, quote, "Overall, the experience for me watching hasn't been fun, simply because I'm seeing all the damage that I caused. I really meant well, but my actions weren't always the best as I now can see the repercussions from my decisions." It's also been revealed that Clayton went to previous Bachelor contestants for advice on how to handle the online scrutiny for his decisions. A source stated, quote, "Clayton is so concerned with how things will play out that he even reached out to former Bachelors for their advice and support." Only as we watch will we finally get the full understanding of why Clayton is so fearful for this season to continue. The newest episode to air revealed a group date where women were basically going to therapy with one another, and in what seems to be a cruel bid to force these women to forcefully open up about the trauma in their lives, he becomes upset with one contestant, Genevieve, when she wasn't ready to reveal her personal details. A lot of people on Twitter were rightfully upset at this weird scenario that both Clayton and the producers have put the girls into. One Twitter user commented, quote, "They've reached a new low. Confess everything and be vulnerable? When does he have to be questioned by a therapist?" And it seems like everyone is heavily scrutinizing this Bachelor, even more so than previous seasons. It seems now that he's seemingly warning that it's going to get worse. Fans are starting to fear for the worst, but only time will tell just how shocking and dramatic this season will get. He should definitely be bracing for backlash, especially given how brutal the internet is already being about it. But we do need to keep in mind just how manipulative producers can be in this season, as their whole prerogative is to try and force as much drama as possible and not look out for the well-being of both the contestants and the Bachelor in question.
I'm falling in love with you. I am, and I have been.
You just scared me.
Wee you, the Bachelor spoilers ahead, you've been warned. Officially top 3 contender, Rachel is so close to becoming the one that Clayton Echard will give his final rose to. At this point, covering The Bachelor is almost like a full-time job, or quite literally in my case. Clayton's season has been insane, with the first half filled to the brim with drama, but the later season also filled with drama, but a type of drama that is much more focused on individual women and their relationships with Clayton. Rachel herself herself has gotten into a bit of hot water with the other women, and she's been accused of misleading the Bachelor on the intentions of other contestants. But as a part of the final three, does she have a good shot at becoming Clayton's wife? Rachel has had an immediate connection with Clayton since day one, a connection that has carried her through to being in the top three. Rachel's a flight instructor and a commercial pilot, and from Orlando, Florida, where she lives now. As per her job description, she's traveled a lot. I mean, like seriously a lot. If you check out her Instagram, it's like 90% travel pictures. And so when she decided to enter into the ring of the Bachelor and place her heart on her sleeve, Clayton seems to have been entirely smitten with her from day one. He has stated that she is, quote, a calming presence. When I speak to her, the conversation wasn't forced, it was very natural. That was one of the conversations night one where I walked out of there along with other conversations I had, and I was like, I'm already feeling good about these girls early on. Like, where could we be at the end of it all? This is great to see night one. Clayton and Rachel's connection grew stronger every time they were together. She landed her first one-on-one date during the January 31st episode and later received back-to-back group date roses. The Florida resident secured a place in the Bachelorette Season 18 alums Final 3 alongside Gabby Windey and Susie Evans during the Monday, February 28th episode. In promos for the end of the season, Clayton tells all of the remaining women that he is in love with them. He also informs two contestants, though it is unclear which ones, that he has been intimate with both of them. Clayton told us in December 2021 that he is no longer, quote, using absolutes after confessing his love to the final three. Quote, I kind of started laughing in disbelief. I don't know if it was nervous. I think it was a nervous laugh. He recalled of acknowledging his feelings towards multiple women. Quote, but you know what? I realized, like, you can't fight these feelings, you have to allow them to come out. As for his intimacy confession, Clayton revealed that it was, quote, upsetting for the women to hear it, and rightfully so. However, he wanted to be, quote, just understand that once the show airs, that whole scene will play out, and there will be an explanation, and people will then understand, or at least they'll be able to see the full picture of what actually happened in the way that it did, which is a quote that Clayton added at the time that he did some things wrong as the lead, even though his intention was to do what he thought was right at the moment. Quote, I can't say that I have any regrets because if I would have done things differently, would it have been my 100% authentic journey? And I think the answer to that is no. That being said, I'm going to predict right now that Rachel is in the final two. My reasoning behind this is because Rachel is one of the women that Clayton has given his intimacy speech to. When ABC dropped the Bachelor trailer that just casually bombed the audience with the knowledge that Clayton had slept with two women, Reality Steve, the Twitter guy who discusses basically every reality television show, theorized that Rachel was one of the women he had been intimate with. In a recent episode where everyone went to Iceland, Steve goes further into detail about his ideas. Quote, the two women whose backs are to us, and he's seriously telling he was intimate with both, are Rachel and Gabby. Two women we know had hometown dates, Steve had confirmed, adding that the shot of the women crying is Sarah, who actually wasn't there during the conversation. Quote, the shot of Sarah crying was squeezed in from another point in filming since we know Sarah didn't make it to Iceland. So most people assume now Gabby and Rachel are your final two based on that shot in Iceland. Certainly looks that way, but with the way that the editing works and how tricky they can get sometimes, the only thing we know for sure is that the whole scene happens in Iceland. Quote, honestly was feeling all kinds of bored about the end of Clayton's love journey, given his lack of personality on Michelle's season of The Bachelorette, but something tells me this might actually end up being the most dramatic season ever, or at the very least the most sexually charged, which I guess I'll take to. But that is not all, folks. Sarah Hamrick, a contestant who was let go during Clayton's season, has started beef with Rachel and fellow contestant Teddy Wright. She's accusing them both of misleading Clayton Echard about her intentions. In Sarah's interview with Us Weekly, she states, quote, I definitely feel betrayed by them. It's hurtful because throughout our entire time on this season, I was sounding bored for them. They shared good days with me. They shared bad days with me. And they shared tears, laughter. They shared intimate details about their conversations with him as well. Things like, you know, Teddy said, oh, he's already talking about meeting my family. And Rachel saying, oh, we already talked about a hometown. And at this point, I have not had those conversations. But did I hold it against them? No. Did I come to them about that and say, how dare these women say this to me and make me insecure? No, I didn't say that because the time is already so limited. Why would I spend it, 1, being down on myself, but 2, mixing my relationship with other people's relationships, especially those people that are my best friends. Because we understood at that point that, at least for me, I was able to separate my relationship from my friendships, and I was able to be there for my friends. She also said that she wasn't given the same treatment and respect from Teddy and Rachel. She then further stated, quote, "I think what was the most hurtful is that even when it was brought to my attention that they felt insecure because of my relationship, I came to them specifically and I said, I take accountability for this. I apologize for this and I want to move forward." They accepted that apology. We agreed, all 3 of us, because we had not been doing it. We all agreed to not share intimate details anymore and move forward. We didn't. She then stated that she didn't speak to anyone after she left Vienna and that she was tired of playing the game that she was led into. Sarah hit out at both Rachel and Clayton as well, thinking that they're both ingenuous for their actions. It seems like this is such an insanely messy season, and how the last few episodes are going to play out is anybody's guess.